Hi, I'm Amirhossein Shahri. I'm here with one other episode of Reviewing Arts. Today we want to talk about the movie Barbarian. Yesterday I watched that. The movie was fantastic and I would strongly recommend you to watch that. But why? Most of the movie that we see these days, they are following the same patterns. There is no uniqueness in it. They're looking for profit. They're not looking for making art. That's why the horror movies are so lame right now. They just bring some actors, some CGI. You see some stuff, something jumps up into the scene and say, okay, that was my scary movie for you. But this one was totally different. What we saw in this movie was like different scenario, different pattern. And why? I will tell you why. First of all, the face. The way that movie goes forward is totally different than other scary movies, the typical one. What you see first, there are a couple of people, the main characters and others. They get there, it looks spooky, but still they decide to stay there. But after that, something happens, they ignore that. After that, they realize they regret why they ignored that. They want to go back, there's no going back anymore, it's too late. They have to face the villain and either they kill or they die. Some people in here, they're gonna get sacrificed until they find their way out. This is the typical horror movie. But in this movie, before anything, spoiler alert, so I'm gonna tell this. So I'm assuming you have watched this movie before, so nothing gonna be a spoil for you. But if you haven't watched that, stop this video and go watch it and then come back. Because my friend told me the rumor about the Barbarian is don't watch any trailer or anything, because if you don't know anything about that, then you're gonna get surprised, which is understandable because these days trailers spoil half the movie. And I could see that without spoiling a little of the movie would be so lame, so they couldn't make any trailer, because based on the trailer they're gonna grab attention and they're gonna make money out of that, so people could go there. So I'm assuming, like, if you saw the trailer, I didn't see any trailer, and just watch the movie, and I suggest you what my friend suggested me, just go directly to the cinema and watch it. What is happening over there is, like, in the beginning it comes, in the very first few minutes you see, oh, it is spooky, and after that guide you to the way that you could say, okay, now I see what's gonna happen, so that's a trap. So the movie let you think like that till half the way through, and after that you see that wasn't trap, that was real. And then the person that you thought set the trap, the it character, the Bill, he didn't even know that. So you have to divide to two parts. The first part is what you expect gonna happen, and the second part is when you get surprised. But mostly all the scary movies that we watch, already we know that there's a villain, there's a real guy, there's a good guy, bad guy, they're gonna see each other in the end of the movie. But this one, you really get surprised because the person who you thought it's gonna be the bad guy turned out to be the good one. And the story goes forward and it gets even more complicated. You say, okay, I got that part, but what about this? Okay, this part shows everything, but what about that? So as you go forward, you get more questions, and that's the best part. I really hate that when in scary movies there is no puzzle to solve. Everything is clear. You know that there is a psychopath, there is a monster. Give me something challenging, make me think. It shouldn't be like a scary movies is kind of like too obvious, but this one is not the case. And especially when they go downstairs into basement, first they see the room with the blood and camera. So what you think is like, okay, someone is bringing them in here, record them, and then they're gonna, the psychopath is, raping. They're gonna use that video or sell that. But then you realize that it is deeper than that, because there is one other room that you go downstairs and you really see a monster, and you see a couple of cages with blood in it. So you see, oh, it is very deeper than that. That is what I love. So the surface level of the movie is deepest part of the other movies. Like other movies, you see like someone is bringing you to the basement, gonna kill you, gonna record you when he's torturing you. But this one, what you see and you say, okay, that's gonna be like typical like other movies. That's just the beginning of it, and you see, oh, it gets deeper and deeper. That's something that you don't see in other scary movies. The other thing was the stage. Like you see from the time that you are certain something gonna happen, it doesn't happen, then you get doubtful. You say what if and what if, and after those what ifs, we get to the point like you really don't know what's going on there, and so you are ready for news. So you're ready for anything shocking because you cannot predict anymore. Many things that you predicted in previous stage happen to be false. Other thing is those characters, character development was very strong in my opinion. It shows the person who was very greedy to make money, the owner of that house. He saw all those evidence to be panicking, to get scared, to feel like something is wrong. But what he did, started to measure the basement to see, oh, I can include it even when I want to sell so I can make more money. So he was too into making money because of the problem that he had. He even forgot that what is that cage for? What is that land for? For other character like Bill from the It, the star of the movie, when you saw him, he wasn't a tough guy, but he was trying his best to be the nice, to be tough guy, even though he wasn't. So that's why he wanted to go to basement to see what's going on over there, to just prove the girl like I'm strong, I'm tough. Or the cops, like most of the time you see, they want to show cops are nice, but also something happens, they make a mistake. That's why they don't take the main character seriously. That's why they don't cooperate with her claim. But it wasn't the case. Since first seconds we saw that, yeah, that was the case. The cops were kind of like arrogant, they didn't care, they didn't take her seriously since the first moment till the end of the movie. It wasn't like, oh, we are very nice, but by the way, we're gonna leave you right now. So they were stable. Those characters, they were stable. I like that a lot. The only thing that I could say, or they already copycatted, was Parasite. So there are people who are supposed to leave that house, like they were hidden and they were living there in the Parasite. Same thing was happening here. The owner said you have to leave. So they decided instead of leaving, make the hole and then live on basement. Another thing was everything was realistic and logical. The guy was psychopath because he wanted to make a baby. That was the cat. That's why. So it wasn't just only for raping for rape, for pleasure. So he had a purpose. Other thing was like, so how do they live? How can they eat if no one knows that they are there? So at night they go out and they eat. So it means like at night, first night when they felt like someone opened the door and left, really that was that monster. So it wasn't like they felt like that. So it goes out and eat and it come back at home. So because you were probably asking that question, how was that dad, that father was living there? He was too old to do anything, and then you saw that is how he was living, because she was going and get the food for him, and that was a bell. So he was, every time he rang the bell, she came to give a service to the dad. And then other thing is like every house was messed up around, so of course no cops gonna take that person seriously because they think, oh, she or he is homeless. And also because she was in the basement and she was so dusty and dirty, she wasn't with her proper dress, you know, and everything that she had to prove that was already left inside the house, and the cops refused to go inside the house. So, and it made sense. Probably would say, why didn't they go back and then get her cell phone back and then come back and then show them? Because it was locked over there and they had to go all the way through. The other thing which was understandable was like the owner of that house was living somewhere else and never paid attention how crappy that part of Detroit was. So if that person was living there, probably long time ago, would sell that house and live it. And that also made sense. Why everyone knew but no one did anything about that? Because basically the whole area was abandoned. So even if people knew that, no one would care. Those things, I think they made it more realistic, believable. But also one part that he said, even she is not the worst thing in here, but we never saw any other monster. It brings you to the conclusion that probably it's gonna be the second one, that you're gonna see what is the worst than that monster. Also, so many crazy things happen, like the main character Bill Skarsgård died in the beginning of the movie, and after that the main character got pushed from the tower. So we thought, okay, so now the main character gonna be this guy. So you never could guess who's gonna be the real one, because always it was rotating. That rotation made it better, because if always they rely on one character, for sure you know that that person is never gonna die, because why should they kill that person if you know that that's the main character? So I think that was one of the best scary movies, at least in last decade, and I strongly recommend you to watch it. Thank you for watching this review. If you like that, please leave a comment, like and subscribe, and share it with your friends. I hope to see you next time.